Greetings! It's Ian from RTO here. Hope you're all well on this Thursday. As it's Thursday, it's Battle of the Debuts, and we're going back to the usual format of debut albums. And today we're going to look at two indie rock bands with a little bit of these are the more gentler side of indie rock. We're going to look at Elbow and Athlete, two bands that I really like. I've got all their albums, and there's just a little bit of something different. Now, I came into Elbow at a very late stage, back in 2008, and Athlete was about 2004, 5, something like that. So, as we usually do, the first band up today is Elbow. Now, Elbow were formed in Bury. Now, Bury, for those of you that don't live in the UK, is in Greater Manchester. You can get there on tram. It takes about 40 minutes by tram to get to Bury from Manchester. The band formed was Guy Garvey on lead vocals, Craig Potter on keyboards, Mark Potter on the guitars, Pete Turner bass, and drummer Richard Jupp, who left in 2016 and was replaced by Alex Reeves. Now, they've released 9 albums, so we are going to be doing a ranking of Elbow because someone has asked for them, but that'll be coming up later in the year. So, the debut album for Elbow is Asleep in the Back. Now, this was released in the UK on the 7th of May 2001 and in the United States in January of 2002. There's later editions, but this is the original edition. So, on this recording is Guy Garvey, who does the lead vocals and plays guitars and percussion and synths and wine glasses, like they all play wine glasses. Harmonica, Mark Potter on guitars and backing vocals, Craig Potter on piano, Pete Turner on the bass, and Richard Jupp on the drums. So, it is produced by Steve Osborne, Ben Hillier, Danny Evans, and Elbow. First track is my favourite track, and it's one of my favourite tracks by Elbow, and it's called Any Day Now. I just love Guy Garvey's vocals on this, and there's some nice guitar work here from Mark Potter. He's a really good guitar player, gets some really nice tones and delicate touches. Then we get Red. This is okay. It's a little bit monotonous in places. Goes on a little bit too long. I mean, it's 5 minutes. I think they could actually cut this down to about 3.5, 4. Then we get Little Beast. Now, I love the arrangement in this. The percussion is so off with everything else, but it all seems to work. It's a really good track. Powder Blue. Love this track. The Potter brothers having a bit of fun here. The guitar works. Mark's guitar works perfectly around Craig's piano. Bitten by the Tailfly. I love this. This is so gentle, and then all of a sudden you get this boom riff from Mark. Very clever track. One of my favourites on the album. Asleep in the Back. Not included on the initial release, but it got added. But I've added this because it is a good track. I love the piano work from Craig on this. Excellent track. Then we get Newborn. Good track. It's very psychedelic, a little bit gentle and ambient. Really strong track. Then Don't Mix Your Drinks. I find this very boring. I've never liked this one. The trouble with Elbow, they do great tracks and they do some dull tracks, and that comes under the category of a dull track. Then we get Presuming Ed, Rest Easy, very atmospheric. Very ambient. It goes on a little bit too long though for me. It's coming second. It's got a nice melodic feel to it, some nice harmonies in the singing. Absolutely a fantastic little track. Can't Stop, definitely the weaker track on the album. Bit of a filler, it's not that good. One of the worst tracks on the album. Scattered Black and White's really nice. I love this sort of gentle ambient sound that Elbow have created. It's really good, and it's Guy's best vocal on the album. Now I think this is a really good debut album. There were some tracks were a little bit too long, but it has got some highlights. This band got better as they went through their career, but it's an album I still really enjoy. And I do play it quite a lot. So what did the old critics think about it? Well, there was not much written about it, actually, believe it or not. I know that it was shortlisted for the Mercury Prize in 2001, and Q listed Asleep in the Black as one of the best 50 albums of 2001, and that's rightly so. But we have got the review scores. Metacritic, the aggregate score, gave it an 82 out of 100. AllMusic gave it 3 stars. The Daily Telegraph gave it 4 stars. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B-. The Guardian gave it 4 stars. Los Angeles Times gave it 4. NME gave it a 9 out of 10. And Pitchfork gave it a 7.4. Q 4 stars. Spin 6. Uncut gave it 4 stars. It got to number 14 in the UK album chart. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of Asleep in the Back. Song quality. There's some really good songs on here. They write some really interesting lyrics. I quite like that, the way they work. There's a few stories in there and about life. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Production. There's one thing about the production on Elbow albums. Pretty good. It's crisp, it's clear. You pick up these little tones on the guitars and the little bits of percussion. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Reception. Critics liked it. Top 20 album. Because it was a little bit different as well, so the fans sort of then got used to it, but as a band in the end they've become really popular. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Now, cover design. It's a little bit dark, and I like the pictures, right, but it could have been a bit brighter blue or something, added a little bit more to it, because it all sort of goes into it, everything else. So I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. So for Asleep in the Back by Elbow gives us a grand total of 15 out of 20. So here we go for the second contender. Now this is a band called Athlete. They're from Deptford in London, and it's Joel Potts on lead vocals and guitar, Kerry Willits on bass, Stephen Roberts on drums, and Tim Wunstall on keyboards. Now they've all been friends since the age of 14, and they took their influences from such as Grandaddy, the Flaming Lips, and started in practicing in a pub called the Bear. And they started getting a good following, and then they got signed in a record deal and went into the studio. And the album they come up with is their debut album, Vehicles and Animals. And it was released through Parlophone on the 7th of April 2003. So it's been out since 2003, and today is the 6th of April. So It's nearly its anniversary. So on here is Joel Pott, Carly Willits on bass, Tim Wansell on keyboard and Steve Roberts on drums. And it was produced by Victor Van Vunt. First track, it's one of my favourite tracks by Athlete, and it's El Salvador. I love this song. I love its quirkiness, its cleverness. It's so English. It's in the same sort of vein as XTC and 10cc. It's very quintessential English. I love this. It's a brilliant track. Then we get Westside. Not a particular favourite of mine. It's the little sister of El Salvador. It's a little bit disjointed. Then we get 1 Million. Love this track. I love the keyboard tones on this from Carey Willits. Different textures. It's a really good, it's an absolute amazing track, especially under the headphones. Shake Those Windows. Again, this is very different. The drumming in this from Steve Roberts is just really intricate, and some of the cymbal work, the delicate touches on the cymbals, it really is a nice effect. Beautiful is the next track. Great vocal from Joel on this, and I like the guitar work as well in this. It really is a good track. New project. What I like about this again is Tim's keyboards. Absolutely texturized, delicate, and a great vocal from Joel again. And then we got You Got the Style. I love the lyric in this. It's such a bright song from Joel, very solid song. Then we get the title track, Vehicles and Animals, another of my favourite tracks on this album. The acoustic guitar sounds like he's sitting next to you playing it, and his vocal is really good. Then we get Out of Nowhere. Not keen on this one, it's a little bit dreary. Then we get a track called Dungeness. Now, Dungeness is a place in Kent. There's not much there. There's a lighthouse and there's a disused nuclear power station, but it's the end of the line for the Romney, Hythe and Dymchurch Railway, and a cafe. It's a bleak place, but this is a quirky song, and I can't believe someone's actually singing about a dull place. The keyboards from Tim on this is fantastic. Then you get You Know, really nice song again there, very gentle. You've got Joel's great vocal, and the drumming on here is brilliant. It's a pretty good track. And the last track is called Le Casio. I love the keyboard work again. There's a little bit that sounds like a Casio, which is quite good, and it's a great way to end the album. I think this is a really good album. It's very English. If you think of XTC and how English they were, the same for this band. It's a unique sound, crafted songs, beautifully put together. I really enjoyed this album. It's one of them summer albums you put on a nice summer's afternoon. Windows open, nice warm day. That's what I think of it. Now, what do the old critics think? Well, there's actually more stuff written about this. So they were positive to the songwriting. AllMusic reviewer Ned Raggett said that Vehicles and Animals is perfectly, almost aggressively pleasant, and that it generally makes for a great listen on a lazy, warm afternoon. Like I said, it is perfect for that. Petrius called it a great record that is guidelessly cheery and knowing witty equal measures. Some new reviewers, though, were negative towards the mix of sounds found on the album. BBC Music's Dan Tallis stated that there was an array of electronic trickery, squelchy noises. Dan, it's called effects. They've been used for years. So that's what he thought of it. So let's have a look at the the reviews. All Music gave it 3 stars. Cross Rhythms gave it... There's so many stars. They're small. I've got to count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. So they give it 10 stars. The Guardian 4. NME 4 out of 10. No Ripcord 6 out of 10. Play Louder gave it 4 stars. Pitchfork 6.4 out of 10. Stylus Magazine a 5.1. Uncut only gave it 1. They don't know much about music. And Yahoo Launch gave it 7. How did it do? Well, Scottish album charts, number 30 in 2003. Here in the UK, don't know what the difference is 19, but it went platinum. This album went platinum. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of Vehicles and Animals. Song quality. I think they wrote some really nice songs on this. All their songs are nice, quirky, a little bit of comical satire in there. So I'm going to give that 4 out of 10. No, 4 out of 5 again. We do 10 on rankings, don't we? So production, again, fantastic production. Very cleverly put together. Very precise. So I'm going to give that 4 as well. Reception, very big album. One of the best albums of 2003. So I'm going to give it 4. Cover design, I like this cover. It's bright, it's got some nice colour on it, and I'll give that a 4 as well. So for Vehicles and Animals and Vehicles, I will give it 16 out of 20. So a close win for Athlete today. Both albums are very similar. Nice and gentle and melodic. Very good singers in Joel and Guy. But I'm going to give it to Athlete today, because I think they're just a very clever band. They didn't make many albums. We are going to be doing an album ranking of them, but they're such a clever band. You know, to come up with something as intricate as this for your debut is pretty strong, and they kept this up all the way through the few albums. They're a very English band, so I shall give it to Athlete today. But what do you think? Go and have a listen. I know a lot of you do go and have a listen to these albums before making your comments, which is brilliant. So you know how to do it. There'll be a poll is on the community. Put your responses in the comments box, and if you come on the live stream tonight, there will be a poll on there as well. See who wins this one. And if you've never heard them, either of these bands, it'll open your eyes a little bit. Okay, I'll be back very soon, and it's pick and mix day, and today we're going to take a wander down the sidewalk, which means we're going to head to America to see what was the top 10 today in the year of our Lord 1987. So join me for that, and bye for now.